Alright, so we're going to work on a vegetarian pizza quiche. I haven't made this before. Normally when I'll do a pizza quiche, it looks quite a bit different. There's a lot more mushroom and green pepper and meat. But I've been doing the Whole30, so I haven't been able to do sugar, which bacon has hidden in it, most of the bacons you can find. And I'm just doing this with what I had in the house. So we've got some interesting stuff. On the weekend I was doing a lot of healthy greens, so spinach and kale. So I've got some spinach and kale that I'm going to try to incorporate into the dish today. I've got one full onion, diced, one full carrot, just grated really fine, and one full red pepper diced up. Now, depending on how it goes, I might only use parts of those because I have to make a tomato soup next. But that's going to be my main ingredients with the egg and some tomato paste mixed with water and some seasonings. I've got the pizza staple of basil and oregano. I got some garlic that's going to go in there, and we're going to start with some olive oil. So I'm just going to get some olive oil in the pan. That's lots. And we're going to get some salt and pepper in there too. So I think I will just end up using all of that. So we'll get all that in there. The reason why I went really small on the grating of the carrot is carrot takes a long time to cook, I find. So just to make sure that the carrot doesn't have large pieces that are hard to deal with in the dish, we'll do them really fine so they blend in a little bit easier. So I'm just going to give that a stir, get the veg all coated with the olive oil. And if you cook like me, it's important to try to remember to write it all down and how much you use. Normally I'll sit down after when I'm eating it and tasting it and write it all down then. So I think for this we'll want a nice kick. I'm going to use a tablespoon of garlic. Get that in there. So you can see I've already got my crust all set and ready to go. It's already been in the oven for 10 minutes and come out. So once my filling is ready, I can just throw it in there. Oven's already at 350, and it can go right in the oven to do up the filling. That's a lot of veg right there. It's going to make a nice one. We may have to adjust how much I've used, since this is the first time. Quantity is going to be a little give and take, but we'll see. When I used to do my fillings for my quiches before, I was using around 5 beaten eggs or more, and I was putting a half a cup of coconut milk in, but I found it really hard to set, and like it was quite thick, but it was still a bit watery. And I went over to my friend Lenora's house, and she made me a really nice quiche, and it was a bit thinner and didn't have as much liquid. She basically put all her toppings in and just enough egg to coat it and cover it over, and I really liked how that texture worked out. So I'm going to incorporate that little lesson and see if I can steal the way that texture came out and incorporate it into this one. So that I can try to get it a little bit better, because hers, I really liked it. It was delicious. So we got that started. Oregano. Usually when I try to do a pizza, spice taste, I'll go about 2 to 1 for oregano to basil. So I usually don't measure this out very well. I'll just use this tablespoon here. You want a nice oregano. We'll go with 2 of the oregano. Really pound that in there. Get that pizza taste going. And just 1 of the basil. It's a bit sweeter. I think I'll make the tomato soup that I want to make after. I'll use a fair bit of basil in it. So that's going to be our main 2 spices. I like to have my veg a little bit crisp. I don't need them to be really soggy for this because they're going in the oven again as well. So that's about where I want those. At this point, I'm going to throw a touch of water in there, all my greens, cover it over with some aluminum foil, and let them wilt a bit, and we'll check on how that's going. So I put maybe 1/3 of a cup to a 1/2 cup. I'd say try to keep it closer to 1/3 of a cup of water. Just enough to get those greens going. So I'll grab my aluminum foil. Got all these lovely greens that are super, super healthy for us. It's hard to get them in, I find. I've got a couple other recipes that I did on the weekend that use kale or spinach. Not both at the same time. So I'm just going to throw a little salt over the top. A little crack-a-lack of pepper. And my aluminum foil. Help get those going. Maybe I'll put 6 minutes on the clock and we'll see how that does. So while that's going, we want to think about what else is going into the dish and get that prepped. So we're going to have our egg mix and our tomato mix. I got a tiny little bit of tomato paste mixed with water and oregano and basil in here from some little pizzas I made for my daughter. So I'm going to use that along with another full can of 156 milliliter of organic tomato paste. Ah! Gravity is working against me on that one. Been a wild day. Full moon and all kinds of craziness happened to me today. I actually was the first person in the parkade to be told that it was full. That's always a great time. Sort of feel bad for the lady too, because she has to do that at least once every day. Come out and be like, "Yeah, sorry, it's full," and completely ruin someone's day. But hey, I had to park far away from my work, and I got to walk, so I didn't get rained on. So I'm doing 1/2 a can of water to the 1 can of tomato paste, and we'll see how that comes out. I don't want too much liquid in this, but the tomato paste is really thick, so you definitely need to cut it. You want to have a nice pizza sauce consistency. You don't want like a topping on a meatloaf or something like that consistency. Like even that's thick, still going to be quite thick, so it'll work. I'm trying to think to myself how I want to do this and layer it. I want to put the tomato layer on the top or the bottom. my other pizza quiches that I've made, I've put this on top and then some more meat on top of that, so it really has that sort of pizza look to it. I don't really have a top to put on this. I think if you had a bit of time and you really wanted to make it look like a pizza, what you could do is keep some diced up red and green pepper and maybe some mushrooms that were tossed in a little bit of oil, olive oil with a touch of salt and pepper and a touch of maybe garlic powder. And when you're baking it, take it out maybe 5 minutes before it's done, 7 minutes before it's done, and just sprinkle those around on top, and then throw it back in, and that would give it a real nice look. And you know, you eat first with your eyes, so doing something like that can really set the dish up to be a success if you're doing it for people that are going to be coming over and enjoying it with you as a nice meal. Doing a little bit of thought about how you want to present it so it really looks like a pizza can really work. So I'm just going to add a little bit more oregano and basil to my red sauce here. Let's take a little peek. Woo! She's wilting down good there now. I'm at 5 minutes here soon. I think that'll probably just about do. Because that was a real big rounded over plate of greens, and they've wilted down now, as you can see, to be not that much compared to the red pepper, onion, and carrot. So that's starting to look really nice. I'll just take the aluminum foil off so that some of that water can escape. It really doesn't look like there's a lot of greens in there now. And I cut the greens up. Sometimes you'll want to leave them a little bit larger, but I wanted them cut up a little bit fine where it's going to be a quiche. I didn't want really big chunks of leaf. So that's going good. I've got the oregano and basil in my tomato sauce. I got to get my eggs going here too. The other thing, if you plan on using the tomato sauce to top it, you're not going to want to do it right away. If you were doing the decorative touch at the end, that's when you'd want to put your sauce on, because it will cook. You want the heat to get that egg first and foremost, and then once the egg is set nice, you can better judge. And it's going to be really hard to tell if your egg is good and set and cooked the way you want it if you got a layer of tomato paste over top. So that's one thing to consider about how you want to attack it all. I don't need that going because I've already taken my aluminum foil off. What I think I'll do is I'll add a bit of this now, and I think I'll save some. So I probably put a quarter to a third of a cup in there. Let's give my counter a wipe. That's got a real nice pizza smell to it right now. The tomato, the oregano, the basil. Now, wife likes a fair bit of salt in her food. I don't know, maybe I just don't need as much salt as most people, but I'm going to kick it up with a bit more salt because I know she really will notice it and wish that there was. So I probably put at least another teaspoon and a half in just there. Now we're going to get the eggs cracked. I think I'm going to go with 6 eggs for this. You've seen the cooks that do the one-handed, like that. All that is sort of rolling your thumb and your fingers, like that, when you go at it. If you've worked a breakfast shift at a restaurant for a while, you quickly learn you need to do that to be able to keep up with the crazy demand for eggs in the morning. If you're putting the egg on a flat top, it's a lot easier to get rid of a shell than if you get it in the bowl like that. You can hunt for them for a while trying to get them out of a bowl. It's not as much fun. I love cooking on flat top. That's probably the one part of cooking in restaurants that I miss the most. You definitely can do a lot with a flat top. At least I really like to. So I've got 6 eggs, just going to beat them up. And I've got most of the liquid coming out of that now. It's definitely like a thicker sauce. Well, that's looking pretty tasty. Actually, I'm going to actually have a taste of that before I go any further, because it's making me hungry. Just going to see how it's going, make sure everything is starting to get cooked. Oh yeah, that's awesome. That's good. So I'll kill the heat on that. Finish mixing my egg. Now that doesn't look like a lot of egg for that much mix, so I might have to readjust my my portions. So we'll start spreading that out in the pan. I don't think I'm going to use all of that mix, to be honest. I just want a smaller layer. I can use that mix for something else too. Maybe throw cut up chicken breast in with that. There's another whole meal with just what I got there. I might just do that. So I've got I got 2 meals, and then I still will probably do a. So that looks about right to me for how much I got in there. So I'm just going to throw the egg over top of that. Oh yeah. Only my stove were level. I think that's the most OCD thing I got about my kitchen right now. It seems like my stove is slanted a bit. I don't know if I can fix it by going underneath or not. Alright. Oh, well, pop this in the oven. Oh. My new pan is leaking. That is not good. What a friggin' mess. Well, that's going to be fun to clean. joys of trying new stuff. You get to see just how much of a mess you can make in the kitchen sometimes. Alright, so we're going to put a timer on that. 25 minutes. That should give me about enough time to clean up this mess. Oh, man. Good times. Huh. Oh, boy. This is all part of the full moon crazy day that I've had, I guess. Alright, so we're at the 20-minute mark of my 25 minutes in the oven. So we're going to pull her out. She's fairly set now. Looking rather nice. I mean, you could serve it like that. But just to give it that added pizza kick, I'm just going to lightly add a layer on top. And like I said, if you put the mushrooms and green peppers on top of this, you'd really have something visually appealing. That would be really nice. Give that nice pizza look to it. When I go to write this up for actual ingredients, I'll have to remember that I didn't actually use all the mix that I made. I used the remainder of the mix with 2 chicken breasts to do up another meal, so I can take either or to work with me tomorrow. I've got some other real interesting recipes I'm going to be putting up soon. That's looking good. I'll pick this up so you can see it in 1 second. Awesome. So there we go. I've topped it, just a real light topping. And I'm going to throw that back in for the remainder 5 minutes. And then we'll probably need to let it set for a few minutes before I can try to cut it. But we'll see how much of a mess that turns into too as I try out my new pie pan as far as revealing and cutting into it. So I'll see you in 5. Alright, 25 minutes in. We've got a complete quiche. So I'm going to let that set right there. Probably put the timer on for another good 10 minutes. And then we'll see if I can open it up and cut out a slice to show you what a slice looks like. Alright, it's been 10 minutes. We're going to see what kind of craziness is going to happen here with this. So I think the problem I had when I made the massive mess is it can separate just by pushing this up, but where it's leaked in the bottom of it, it's going to be a bit of a pain, I think. Got a bit of egg coming crusted on the bottom of this new pie pan. I don't think that's going to cut out very nicely. I'm going to have to go in like this. theoretically it should just lift out, but I'm not gonna get it to, I don't think, with how the egg went through the pan when I had my massive mess. So, I've got some work to do on how to use my new pie pan. Obviously, I've a pretty big mess with it. But let's have a taste and see if it tastes good. That definitely has a nice pizza taste. For me, I really like my pizza with a bunch of meat. But for the vegetarians out there, I think you'll really like this recipe. You might want to get a different pie pan to make it a little easier on you though, because it definitely did me in pie pan 1, Tim 0 on that one.